What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with our Week 9 NFL preview
Oh,
and picks. As always, I have Ethan joining me, and alongside him, we got our almost champion last year, Jerison Vandenboom. Let's see if he can dethrone the guy that beat him last year. But before we get into it, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Get us to 200 subscribers. We're almost halfway there with 150, and then you'll be entered into our giveaway of an autographed item. But we'll talk about last week's games first. I prevailed last week going 12-3 with some good picks and a few, questionable picks there by Ethan talking about his Steelers. But other than those games, what do you think, was the big takeaway from week 8, Ethan?
so the big takeaway from our pick standpoint is you gained two games on me. If I wouldn't have picked that Cleveland game, right, it would be one game. So really glad I picked the Cleveland game. But it's gonna be a neck and neck battle all year, and it's gonna be exciting.
And then Jerry, this is what you got to beat. You got to beat 11-4. So around that percentage, and with 13 games this week, I think it's like 10-3. I think we'll get it done for you. But before we get into that, we got to talk about the teams on the bye. Ethan, your Steelers are on a bye, obviously, so I'll let you talk about them. But before that, we got some good teams in here that you really weren't gonna think would be good. And if you were to tell me that the Broncos and the Browns would have the losing records going into this week, I would just be, like, what are you talking about here? But the Giants, Cowboys, Niners all look like they go into the bye coming and probably coming out with good games, good matchups, and possibly, chip on their shoulder to get the edge in their divisions. But Ethan, what about your Steelers there? What's up with TJ Watt?
So hopefully, if TJ Watt can come back, defense is gonna improve very much. I know you guys all probably saw the meme of Jalen Hurts sitting in the clean and empty pocket with no Steelers around anywhere. So that TJ Watt will help that immensely, and it'll just help the team all in all. They're really they're not really making a playoff push, so maybe I want them to lose. I don't know.
And then we have our game that happened Thursday. We all picked the Eagles in this one, pretty much, it was a little close at first, but they prevailed in the second half. But we'll jump right to Sunday here in my Packers. We got a clean sweep across the board. Obviously, Jerry's wearing his Packers jersey as well. And this game is make it or break it for me as a fan this year. If they don't beat the Lions in Detroit, which, they've dominated in Detroit for however many years, then I think the writing's on the wall for this Packers team. And it's time almost to call it a season. Because if you're going 3-6 next week at home, versus Dallas, which I'll be at, that's essentially a must win. But this feels like more of a must win, and I think they'll get it done.
Yep, I'm with you there. I think the Packers are going to get it done on the road. It's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be one of the more interesting games of the 1 o'clock slate. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But definitely taking the Packers in this one.
Yep, I'm going Packers, man. I think, like you said, this is as close to a must-win this early in the year that it comes to. So they got to win this week. Aaron Jones will have a big game, and they'll get the win at Detroit.
And then another sweep across the board. I think you have, the Falcons that are winning the NFC South right now at 4-4. The surprise team, I want to say, of the year, but there's just been so many. But this Falcons team has been resilient. They've gutted out close wins and really played some good football at times against good teams. But I think this is a game for the Chargers coming off of a bye where they want to establish the ground game. And Austin Eckler will have a great game, with Keenan Allen out and Mike Williams out. The pass catching options are very limited for the Chargers, so expect a big day for Eckler.
Yep, this is going to be one of the interesting games. I know we're all taking the Chargers, but that shouldn't reflect how close this game is going to be. I mean, the Chargers are only favored by 2.5. I think this is going to be a real highly entertaining game. I took the Falcons spread. If you're a betting person, I took the Falcons spread in this game. I think it'll be a really close one, but I am going to take the Chargers. Justin Herbert needs to get back on track.
Yeah, going off what Ethan's saying, I would say that the over-under, I would probably go with the over in this one. I think it'll definitely be a back and forth. Yeah. I think it'll be close. I'll go with the Chargers, just leaning that way just because I think Herbert's just that talented.
And then our first disagreement here, I am going with the Miami Dolphins, and here's why. When Tua has started a game and finished this game, they haven't lost this year. They're 5-0. And when he comes out or doesn't play, they're 0-3. And I think he's going to be in this one start to finish. But the Bears, do have Claypool. We'll see how he handles, the new system, gets acquainted there. But I just think, with the Dolphins also adding Bradley Chubb on defense, it's going to be too much for Fields. He has struggled mightily against, getting pressure and whatnot. And I think that's where the Dolphins are going to get to Fields.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bears in this one. Miami is actually favored by 4 points on the road, which is kind of surprising to me because Bears have been playing a lot better as of lately, and they're playing at home where I'm just not. I don't really trust Miami, a team that plays indoors. A lot of the time to go to these cold weather places like Chicago and Buffalo, and to beat them, I think this is going to be a tough test, and I think the Bears are going to come out on top.
Yeah, I agree with Ethan on most of his reasons. I mean, I'm just kind of leaning on the Bears on this one just because I think Fields is going to be able to get it done at home here.
And then we got the Panthers, who, are a very good 2-6 team. I think you can say ever since the Matt Rule firing, they have been playing a completely different brand of football. Even trading McCaffrey and Robbie Anderson, this team still hasn't missed a beat. But now you go on the road to face Cincinnati, and I don't think they can put up 34 again like they did last week against this Bengals team. Joe Burrow, doesn't have Jamar Chase still, but he's still got all his other weapons. And if they can keep him upright and stop Brian Burns essentially from, disrupting any pass play, the Bengals should win.
Yep, I'm with you there. Bengals should win. I think it's going to be a little bit closer in the first half. I think the Bengals will pull away in the second half. Bengals receivers are going to be very valuable in this game. If you got any Bengals receivers in fantasy, you should start them if you can. So yeah, I got the Bengals though.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals too, man. I on the back of my fantasy quarterback, Joe Burrow. He's going to get it done.
And then we got a very, I don't know what you want to call slugfest, I think could be the right word for this one. Two teams that really need a win. And, from the Raiders standpoint, they are not out of their division at all. Sitting at 2-4, besides the Chiefs really kind of starting to come into their own. If the Raiders reel off a few wins here, get back to 4-4, 500, then they still got a shot at least a wild card berth. And, same for the Jaguars as well in that AFC South. Besides the Titans, they can beat almost any other team in that division. And if both these teams want to get back on track this week, it has to be this week where they get back on track, or else it's too late. And I think the Jaguars are more susceptible to that. Now with Darren Waller out, he's been out pretty much the whole year. It's going to be Devontae and Hunter Renfrow and Josh Jacobs that are going to have Carr leaning on. But we saw them bring in Devontae in the offseason, and that still can't help Derek Carr to save him for the least. So give me the Jaguars here.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jaguars as well. I just think this is going to be both teams, like you said, both teams need to win. It's going to be a very interesting game. Really, I think it's going to be solved in the trenches. And I don't think the Raiders are going to be able to stop ETN or any of the weapons that the Jaguars have. No, I think the Raiders will score, but I don't think it'll be enough to beat the Jags. It'd be like a 19-16 type of football game, in my opinion.
Yeah, like you said earlier, Zach, this is one of the few games I'm in disagreement on you guys. I think the Raiders are going to bounce back here. Ethan says that the Raiders aren't going to be able to stop ETN, but I don't think the Jaguars are going to be able to stop Josh Jacobs. So I'm going with the Raiders.
And then we got a game of, it feels like it's a must-win week for a lot of these teams. But I think this game is more of a show-me game. The Colts, obviously with Ellinger still starting for the rest of the year. Obviously now he's more calm in the system. But going up against Belichick is always tough to do, no matter what his record is and whatnot. So just by that, Ellinger's second career start, I got to go with the Patriots and Mac Jones. Damien Harris is out as well, but that doesn't matter because Stevenson has really been the bell cow and essentially established himself as one of the top running backs in the league even this year. And I think he's going to get it done. Jonathan Taylor's out as well for the Colts. So nothing is really trending towards the Colts' way going into this matchup.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Patriots should win by more than 5. I think I'd take the Patriots spread. Colts rookie quarterback against the Patriots defense without your star running back is just not a good recipe for a win. If the Colts defense can create some turnovers and score some points off those turnovers, then it could be a different story. But I'm going to take the Patriots because I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think, Zach, you said it best. This Colts team, they have nothing good going for them right now. I don't want any piece of this Colts offense from a fantasy perspective or really anything. It's just, and the whole situation there is bad right now. So I think it'll be, I would go from a betting standpoint, I would say the under in this game, but I think the Patriots will win by 5. It could be kind of an ugly 17 3 type of game or something.
And then, yes, if you're looking at my pick, you are reading that correctly. I am going with the New York Jets to pull off the big upset against the Bills. Last year we saw it week 1, Ethan Steelers pulled off the victory against Buffalo. And I think this is kind of a trap game for these Bills here, coming out of a, decently game last week. The Jets have a very good defense that still isn't getting enough credit because it is the Jets. But it's going to come down to Zach Wilson and the run game at the end of the day. If he can, throw for at least 200 yards, James Robinson and Michael Carter can at least maybe score a touchdown each, and they keep this game around 20s going into the fourth quarter, then I think that's where the Jets can get them. But the storyline for the Bills here is obviously Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs connection. If that's going on and if Sauce can't stop that, then, my pick's going to be completely wrong. And I think Buffalo wins probably by 20.
Yeah, I'm going to take Buffalo. I think it's going to be closer than people think at first, but just way more weapons. I could see where your point is from saying it's a trap game, but they're the Jets are the main competitor in this division right now, and I think the Bills are going to put them away as quickly as they can.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bills here. I mean, I haven't really went too deep into it. I'm just thinking Josh Allen is going to be good enough to beat them.
And then you have an intriguing matchup here with the Vikings going on the road to the 4-4 Commanders. The Vikings, have won, I believe it's 5 in a row now. And you have Washington, who has won 3 in a row. So you got a battle of some winning streak going against each other. But this one, I think the talent is going to be too much for the Commanders. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and now even TJ Hawkinson added to that is going to be tough to stop for any defense, not just the Commanders. And if Taylor Heinicke, can have a solid game, we've seen him grit out a few games in the end, and I think that's why that spread is so close. But I have to go with the Vikings here to get the straight up win.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Vikings as well. Washington's much better with Taylor Heinicke than Carson Wentz, and I think it's going to be a pretty solid game. But with that being said, I'm going to take the Vikings, only favored by 3 points. So I think they should cover as well. Just think way too many weapons on offense. And I think that defense is good enough to really kind of shut down that Washington Commanders offense. So I'm taking the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm going against you guys here. I'm going with Washington. I think they got some serious weapons too, and Terry McLaurin, guys like Brian Robinson. I think they're going to be able to do enough to beat that Vikings team.
And then moving over to the short span of the 4:00 game. So we got the Seahawks going on the road to the Cardinals. And to my surprise, I'm kind of surprised that everyone is going with technically the underdog in Seattle here. They're getting 1.5 points. But I like the Seahawks team in the direction they're going under Geno Smith. They're doing something right. And Kenneth Walker, with the Rashad Penny injury, he has really shined in light of him. And, when they have DK and Tyler Lockett being consistent pieces and not, boom or bust players every week, this is a very scary Seahawks team. And don't forget about that defense with a young defense as well. So they are still coming into their own here. But this is a game to me for the Cardinals where they, Cliff Kingsbury's job essentially could be on the line here in these next coming weeks because he still hasn't really done enough to me to prove it that he is the coach of the Cardinals of the future.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Seahawks as well. I think just a better overall team right now. Now, there is a world where the Cardinals win. They are favored. They definitely could win and make this division a whole lot closer, but I just don't see that happening today. I would stay away from this game as a better, though, because it's just a really could go either way. And Cardinals at home, really, D-Hop's really just getting going now, so that offense could just be getting better every week for the Cardinals. That being said, though, I'm going to take the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm completing the sweep here. I'm going with the Seahawks as well. I think I'm glad that Zach said he was a little surprised to see that it's a clean sweep because I think it really is a coin flip, but I just think the Seahawks are going to win this one.
And then we got a game that at the beginning of the year was looking like a heavyweight fight, in week 9. But here we are, both teams with losing records, and you're going to tell me that the defending Super Bowl champ is 3-4, and Tom Brady, doesn't matter what team he's on, is 3-5. I would have called you crazy. And here we are, it's happening. And this is a must win already for both of these teams, because if you're Brady and the Bucks and you fall to 3-6, yes, I know you're only a game back from your division lead. But 3-6 just doesn't sit right with Tom Brady. So maybe if they do lose this game, it's the best thing that could happen for him. Really light a fire under him and get hot. But I think this is going to be the week where that happens. They get the win over the Rams, who, the ground game is going to be the big question for the Rams, with Akers active. They got Ronnie Rivers and they got Darrell Henderson. So you really don't know what is going to go for the ground game. But obviously, if Cooper Kupp's ankle injury, is minor like they say it is, I expect him still to have a big day.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Rams in this one because just for the simple fact that the Buccaneers can't really protect Brady so far this year, and the Rams have Aaron Donald, so I think their pass rush is going to really get to him and make Brady make bad decisions. And I think the Rams are going to capitalize and win this game. It's going to be a close one, but I'm going to take the Rams by 4. So.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bucks. I think it's just down to it for me. It's Tom Brady. He could lose probably 5-10 games in a row, and I would still just be like, you know what, I still believe he's going to win this game. So I'm picking the Bucks.
And then moving over to Sunday Night Football, and I think this is the biggest trap game of them all for the Chiefs this year. I believe since 2018, the Chiefs are 1-3 against the Titans. Doesn't matter postseason or not. And it's always been a situation like this. Both these teams almost have the similar record. Chiefs are heavily favored, and the Titans somehow, some way get it done. And that's thanks to, in part, to Derrick Henry. And I still expect him to have a big day. But I think this is the year where the quarterback matters because we still don't know if it's Tannehill or Malik Willis that's going to start going into tonight. And just with that being in question, we saw what Willis did last week, didn't really do anything. And if you're going to base it off of that, you got to go with the Chiefs, possibly covering, but I don't think it will just because of the history in recent years.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think the Chiefs are cover, but I do think they win the game. Offense is back, especially coming off of a bye week. They got some tricks up their sleeves. So you're going to see some crazy plays, I think, in the red zone. Maybe an offensive lineman scoring a touchdown or whatever. They're really creative. I do think Derrick Henry's going to have a great game, but like you said, Malik Willis or Ryan Tannehill, it's going to matter. So I think either way you go, I'm still taking the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs in this one. I think Patrick Mahomes prime time is going to get it done.
And all I got to say is Kadarius Toney must start this week. But we'll go to Monday Night Football, the last game of the week. And also to my surprise that I'm the only one that's going with the Ravens on the road. But I see where you guys stand because this Saints team has played really good football with Andy Dalton under helm. They've been putting up lots of points, but I think that ends here. And I think the Ravens defense is going to reign superior. Lamar will have a great game as usual. But it's going to be the wide receivers and tight end position that it's going to come down to essentially, and maybe even running back because Gus Edwards probably isn't playing either. It's pretty much Lamar and almost all the second team out there for his weapon standpoint. Offensive line, he's still going to be okay. But if, he can get those connections going early, Demarcus Robinson plays, he's fine. Deshaun Jackson, even he can get into it. And I think the big player to me to watch in this game is Isaiah Likely. The rookie tight end had a big game last week when Andrews went down, and I expect him to have another big game this week as well. And I think he'll be the main reason why the Ravens walk away with the W.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there, but I'm going to have to go with the Saints. I think this is the biggest upset of the week. Ravens on the road, going into New Orleans is always really tough, especially on Monday Night Football. I just think the Saints have been playing good enough football. Ravens, with all the injuries, all the chaos that's going on with all their guys, I just think this is the time where they're going to lose. I still like the Ravens a lot this year, but this is just a tough matchup for them, and I think the Saints are going to pull it off.
Yeah, I'm going with the Saints. I think they have enough dynamic weapons offensively to win this one. They even got Taysom Hill to kind of give them some different options, so I'm going with the Saints.
And that's going to be it for our video this week. Make sure you guys check back next week to see how everyone did. And we'll see where we're standing in the standings and see where Jerry places. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.